afternoon and welcome to Fast Horses Today for Sunday. Today's June 30th. We're going to play the Pick 6 carryover, jackpot carryover over at Churchill Downs. Now today's the last day over at Churchill, so that's a mandatory payoff. So it's always worth giving a look at that jackpot carryover because they got to pay that extra amount. Today the extra amount's $357,000, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of money added to that. All right, so let's get started here. It starts in the 6th race, which has approximate post time about 2:18 Central. That's 12:18 Pacific. So that's about an hour away, a little over an hour away. Let's get started here. 6th race is the Max Field, which is an overnight handicap at 7 furlongs. I've got 2 horses here I'm going to put in here to get this started. I got the one who was world record for the Rodolphe Brissett barn. Flavian Pratt takes the call. This horse has run twice. First out was a maiden special over at Keeneland. Ran a nice race that day. Kind of shot for the lead, then backed off. Came on again. Ended up getting beat a neck for, was third. And then they brought the horse over to Churchill, and this horse blew out a field of maidens. It was a 12-horse field, so a nice full field. He broke his maiden at 7 furlongs with a nice speed figure, was the favorite that day, so word was certainly out. And, should expect some nice things out of this horse. So this is world record. He's 3-1. Got this horse, that's the 1. And I'm also going to put the 6 horse, was Raging Torrent, out of the Doug O'Neill barn. Now, Doug O'Neill had this horse over at Del Mar last year, which is a tough place to be as a 2-year-old. Horse broke his maiden first time out. Not an easy thing to do. So that shows you this horse has some talent. Then he ended up running up in a series of graded races for 2-year-olds in the Best Pal and in the Del Mar Futurity Grade 1. Had to go up against the Baffert monsters there, Prince of Monaco. Ran respectable with these horses. Came third, came fourth. Ended up running into Muth as well at Santa Anita in the American Pharoah. And then even this year, the horse, they put him on the turfs in some turf sprints, ran up against King of Gosford, who's a nice horse in this as a sprinter there in Santa Anita. So they brought this horse to Churchill Downs on Derby Day. He closed out the card with a big win in the 13th race with a huge speed figure. And, they got the horse acquainted with Churchill. Brought the horse back to Santa Anita to do some workouts, so certainly earning frequent flyer miles. But they're bringing him back here. He's 2-1. Certainly looks live here to get this pick 6 started. So I've got the 1 and the 6. Let's move over to the 7th race. 7th race, I don't have a strong opinion. There's a nice field of 3-year-olds running 1 1/8 miles. So 2-turn race, allowance race. I just see this as a very open race, and I've got 6 horses. I just going to put the 6 in there, get this pick 6 going. I've got the 2, who is Gun Party. Gun Party, big purchase, $1.7 million purchase, so certainly big things expected here. 7-2 in the program. I've got the 5, who is Elephant's Ear. Elephant's Ear out of the Ken McPeak barn. He's a long shot here, 15-1. I like this horse. He ran with Gun Party. He ran with Cornishman, who we'll talk about in a few moments. And then his next start, this horse broke his maiden at Keeneland by beating a horse named Batten Down, who we know how good Batten Down is. He won the Ohio Derby in a nice way and expect good things to come. So, beating a horse like that certainly gets my attention. What I don't know exactly what happened his last 2 starts. He ran in some 2-turn races at Churchill and ran kind of lackluster, but we'll give him a shot here, see what happens at 15-1. Then I'm going to put the 7, who is Cornishman. That's the program favorite for Brad Cox, Godolphin Racing. This horse, has a nice record, 4 starts, a win, 3 seconds. So he's kind of probably learning, figuring it out. An allowance race like that would, be something that, he should be very competitive with. So then I got the 9 horse, was Corolla Rapido, Todd Pletcher barn. He's 5-1 with Irad Ortiz. The 10 horse, who is Lat Long, Kenny McPeak as well, for Brian Hernandez Jr. This horse has been knocking around and made in special weights and in some of the stakes races, for the Derby Trail. He's 4-1. And then another long shot I'm going to put in here is the 11, We'll Take It. We'll Take It out of the Eddie Milligan barn, Francisco Arrieta. Milligan's had a rough year. I know he struggled over at Oaklawn, and it looks like he struggled here at Churchill Downs as well. But this horse, a $700,000 purchase, royally bred horse by Tappet out of Lady Take Charge. So that's just royally bred. That's why this horse costs so much. So this horse has certainly got some big expectations. Running long should be what this horse wants to do, 1 1/8 miles. So let's put him in here at 15-1. So that's the 2, the 5, the 7, 9, 10, and 11. All right, now let's move over to the next race, which is the 8th race. That's the Anchorage overnight stakes. This is 1 1/8 miles on the grass for fillies and mares. I've got a single here. I've got the 5-horse, who is Forever After All, for the Brendan Walsh barn. Now, this horse is 5-2 in the program. There's a big scratch in this race. The 8-horse got scratched out, so it made me think that I'm going to single this horse, Forever After All. She's run twice on turf. They originally started this horse running on dirt, and she was running okay, but, just kind of knocking around the maiden special ranks. But then they put this horse over on a synthetic where she ended up winning an allowance race, so that probably gave him the idea to put this horse on grass. So she started out in the Modesty, which, I thought she ran a pretty nice race there, which was during Derby week. And I thought she ran well for her first turf start, but here's where I really like this horse. They brought her over to Santa Anita. She ran in the Grade 1 Gamely, and she ran up against a monster in Anna Sett. Anna Sett's the queen of California turf racing, for the older fillies and mares, and she ran a great race with Anna Sett. And also, Olivia Meralda ran second in that race, so I wasn't as familiar with Olivia Meralda, but Olivia Meralda ran a really, really nice race. So Forever After All came third, ran really well with those two. And this is a much weaker field. So if she's going to run like she did in the Grade 1 Gamely, I think she rolls over this field. So she's a single for me at 5-2. And I also put a little win bet on Forever After All. All right, now let's move over to the next race. Next race is the 9th race. This is the Bashford Manor. This is their 2-year-old stakes race that they run every year at Churchill. 2-year-old for the boys. Now, this kind of sums up their 2-year-old season there at Churchill. Nice purse, $225,000. I've got 4 horses I'm going to put in here. I've got the one who is Spiralizer for Steve Asmussen. Asmussen brought this horse first out. He broke his maiden at Churchill, ran a pretty nice race. It was a big purchase price, $550,000, so it was no secret. He was about 8-5 that day, won nicely with Tyler Gaffleone. Gaffleone takes the call again. Then I'm going to put the 5-horse, who is Bodacious. Bodacious comes out of the George Parabon barn. Now, George Parabon runs a small barn out in California, and this horse broke his maiden first time out at Santa Anita. And I watched the replay. This horse was hard ridden. They wanted to get the speed out of this horse, and they certainly did. And this horse just took off and ran a really, really fast race. And it was Tyler Bays that day. Tyler Bays did a great job here to break the maiden by daylight. Today, Rosario takes over. This horse is 9-2. Now, I've seen George Parabon take horses over to Churchill for their 2-year-old races and done well with it. So he certainly knows what he's doing there. Certainly knows when to ship a horse. And this horse kind of, fits that profile there. That's the 5-horse Bodacious. Then I've got the 9-horse, who is War Tax. Now, War Tax comes out of the Carlos Martin barn. This horse broke his maiden at Aqueduct back in late May. This horse, showed some great speed, and what really caught my attention, this horse really burst. The speed burst going around the turn, coming into the stretch. It looked really nice and kind of eye-popping for me. So, the horse ran a nice race. Speed figure was all right, but I don't know, what to really make of speed figures. 2-year-old races running at Aqueduct. At this time of year or back in May, because they really don't do that. Aqueduct's not open, and it ends up being, they're running at Belmont. So this is, rarely used, 2-year-olds running at Aqueduct. So I've got this horse. He's 8-1. So I'm going to put War Tax in. And then finally the 10-horse, who is Heat. Now, Heat comes out of the Mark Cassie barn. This horse broke his maiden over at Gulfstream Park. And, I wouldn't give a lot of credit to horses breaking their maiden on the tappeta surface. But I watched that replay. This horse ran a huge race that day. Didn't break out too well. Ended up, going after a horse who took a long lead and just ran with this horse, ran around the turn, and then just really took over, in the stretch. And they were by daylight ahead of everyone else. So I thought that was a nice professional race Heat ran. The horse that he ran down that day ended up coming back to win his next race. So shows me that's a live race. Heat has Irad Ortiz Jr. on the horse, so certainly a good thing. So I'm going to put that in there. So that's the 1, 5, 9, and 10. All right, now let's move over to the next race, which is the Hanshin handicap. Now, this is a mile on the dirt. This was a holdover from the old Arlington Park days. This is a $300,000 race, 1-turn mile. Nice competitive field. I've got 4 horses I'm going to put in here to try to get this pick 6 moved along. I've got the 1 horse who is Tumba Rumba for Brian Lynch. Now, Brian Lynch has had kind of a tough meet here at Churchill Downs this past spring, summer, but we know Brian Lynch could win races. This horse shows a good record. in the one-turn mile races on dirt, so that's what they're doing here. So should be right up his alley. 10-1, Luis Saez. Yeah, let's see how that happen. Then I've got the 3-horse with Zosos for the Brad Cox barn for Florent Giroux. This horse has a good record at Churchill at the distance, so certainly likes the one-turn mile. This horse came off a bit of a vacation, we from the Breeders' Cup, came back and ran during a Derby day that was in the Churchill Downs handicap, the Grade 1. Tough spot to come back in. I thought the horse ran a nice race, kind of fought for the lead with Hear Me Song, and ended up getting beat. It came third, by Gun Pilot, and Hear Me Song stuck around for second. I thought this horse ran a good race, maybe sets him up for this, because this is certainly a weaker field than that. Then I've got the 6-horse who is Extra Anejo. Extra Anejo is a big purchase, another big purchase for the Asmussen barn, $1.35 million. This horse, has a pretty good record, 3 wins out of 5. Kind of lightly raced, so they're probably. Something happened last year after the Haskell where the horse ran an even race. They brought the horse back, ran a pretty good race at Churchill, in an allowance race, so they're bringing him into this. So this is a natural progression for a horse like this, 5-1. Gaff Leone keeps the call. He won with him last time. He won with him in his 3 races. So Extra Anejo. The sibling of this horse was a younger sibling, came out a couple days ago in a baby race, maiden race, and ran a nice race. So, the mom probably, just produces some nice runners there. So Extra Anejo is definitely worth a look at 5-1. And then I've got the 9-horse who is Cagliostro out of the Cherie DeVaux barn. Cherie DeVaux's dangerous. She always has her horses ready to go. This horse has run some nice races. I really like what this horse did last time in the Grade 3 Blame, running 2 turns, mile and 1/8. So it shortens up to a 1 turn, which should be no problem here. I think this horse might be better shorter. Highland Falls beat Cagliostro that day, but Cagliostro ran a really, really nice race. Flavian Pratt takes the call. First time Pratt, always a good angle, 6-1. So I got to put that one in there. All right, now let's move over to the last race. Last race is the 11th. It's a maiden special weight. This is a 2-turn race, mile on the grass. I've got 2 horses here to try to cap off this pick 6. I've got the 8-horse out of the Brad Cox barn, Handful of Candy. This horse has 1 start. To his credit, it was originally supposed to be a turf race, but got washed off. This horse made a nice account of himself, running on the 1-turn dirt in the slop. Came second, and nice race, nice speed figure. Tells me this horse has some talent. And, they want to put this horse on the turf because that's what they originally started. So the horse certainly is worth a look at 3-1. Then I'm also going to put the 13 horse in. 13 does draw in off the also eligible. That's Bolt Action, Al Stallbarn. This horse has 3 starts in his life. Came out last year, back in May of last year in Churchill Downs, and just, didn't do much there. They gave the horse a vacation. Brought the horse back this year in a sprint race over at Fairgrounds, running 5.5 on the turf. Horse came second, ran a nice race. Then I thought the horse ran a nice race over at Keeneland in another turf sprint. By looking at this horse, I didn't know if this horse really wants a sprint. They were running some fast fractions that day over at Keeneland. They were just blazing there, and this horse didn't look like wanted part of a sprint race, but certainly ran well to come third. So I think 2 turns might be what this horse likes to do, and I'm going to give this horse a shot here at 5-1. That's the 13 Bolt Action, and I'm also going to make a win bet on Bolt Action as well. So let's recap here today at Churchill Downs. So to recap, this is the 6th race, which is going to be starting out the pick 6 over at Churchill. The 6th race, I've got the 1-6 with the 2, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11 with the 5. That's the single there. And then I've got the 1, 5, 9, 10 with the 1, 3, 6, 9 with the 8 and 13 in the last race. This ticket comes out to be $76.80. Then I've also got 2 win bets in the 8th race. I'm going to play the 5 to win. In the 11th race, I'm going to make a win bet on the 13. So, as always, add or subtract. Do how you see fit. Maybe play pick 3s within this, a pick 4, or if you like to pick 5, you got to do what seems to work for you. So, as always, I wish you the best of luck. Let's get some great trips, because that great trips will give us some good luck. Let's see some good, safe racing today. So, as always, I ask you to please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost anything to hit the subscribe button, and puts you on the queue, gets you the new content when it comes available. Like, dislike, make some comments. Would like to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching.